No one made me straight.
Dr. Qureshi, what's your take on Muslim Islam and homosexuality?
I can understand her dilemma. Okay. In Islam, if you are truly in belief, Allah knows best your heart, and He'll judge you accordingly. People can be in belief and sin, and Allah says, if you are in it fully, I may forgive you. So you live on, as anyone else, even heterosexual, have to live with the hope that whatever you do is at the end of the day just tolerable. But what worries me, you see, the question of, the point is, are you born gay? I think jury is out on that. There are certain...
Well, we have somebody here who's a lesbian who's
I have
clearly...
treated and counseled hundreds of people who were in her predicament, and some have not been able to, if I can use, I don't like the word normal configuration, they've been able to realize and reconfigure. Some haven't. I'm very respectful of those people who choose not to. At the same time, the psycho-medical, biological evidence is still being debated.
Dr. Qureshi,
Now,
if you...
I have treated people and I've advised them to have section operation.
What would your take be on your own child that would say was gay? Would you try to deal with them from your professional standpoint, or would you use your spirituality and your faith to guide them?
I would hope that I'm able to use best of the both to counsel, because the life of normality or life of belonging to a wider community in itself is a problem. I'm not saying the best option, but in our culture and belief system, we should do our endeavor best to see people lead a comfortable life within themselves. I don't know what happens in 50 years' time, but there has always been the difference between textual context, and the real life issues.
I think we had a question over here.
Can I just say something?
Sure, yeah.
If there's no normal, so what is it you've treated? People have come to you with an issue, whatever that issue might be. So what is it you've treated? If there is no normal to treat, you've just kind of contradicted yourself.
I come and ask a question, I have to then put it to them and counsel them as to how far down the road they are, how far they're flexible. If they come to me preordained or preset mind, I can do nothing about it. But if they come and ask me, some parents bring the children, I counsel them and tell them, this is the way your society, culture will accept you. Can you be this? And if they say, yes, doctor, help me, I will. Otherwise, I don't.
It's your issue is with that whole normal. What's normal?
Well,
Are you not
there's
normal?
no normal.
Right.
So what is it treating? What is it you're actually treating? And you're saying if it's community, I've been brought up in a very, very Pakistani community where it's, 15 children and get married at 16 and, tied to the kitchen sink, most of them are taxi drivers, the standard, what is expected.
Stereotypical.
Typical. Sorry, I'm not offending any taxi drivers. It's typical. All my brothers and sisters are married. It was expected of me. I followed the sort of path that was expected of me. But if it's not me, it's not me,
That's why I didn't use the word normal. I used the word mainstream. That people can choose to be what they want to be, but if they come to me, I don't go out to them. Parents bring them. I counsel them to see the advantages and perils of going this way or that way. I'm not saying that life is a red bed of roses the other side, but there are problems both sides, but there are less problems if you lead within the mainstream.
But if you're saying that I'm a Muslim lesbian, I'm allowed to be a lesbian, but I'm not allowed to shout about it, then it's going to be mainstream because I'm not shouting about it.
I think that's something you have to choose. It's a very good question. I think you have to understand that Allah and God can be forgiving if you don't make a virtue of something which is not acceptable in the mainstream.
Yeah, but you're saying that then Pav needs forgiveness because what she's doing
He's always
is
forgiving. He may be forgiving you as you're doing it. He knows. Because he's not going to judge you, not me. The societal norms are set for the wider society, the benefit of the society.
Okay.
And you're living in Britain, you have an advantage. You lived in Pakistan and Iran, it will be different.
Okay. So
And
this
again,
is the same
coming to the
Pakistan
sex-
where you have men walking around holding hands. Quite openly in Pakistan. In fact, it's easier there than it is here.
The emotional, cultural aspect of holding hand. I was in Bombay just 2 months ago and I saw that.
Yeah.
In fact, I come from Hyderabad,
But it's a very gay act, isn't
most
it?
sex-tolerant city
Sorry,
in
homosexual
India.
act.
My city, Hyderabad, is voted the most sex-tolerant city in India.
Right.
So I know what you're talking about. At the same time, to become caricatured in one way or the other is something one has to be very careful in deliberating.
Right.
I'm aware of the difficulties if you go this way or that way.
Right.
At the same time, I would also like to say that when it comes to treatment, as in Iran, you may recommend it, I have done that myself. But that doesn't apply to people who are dabbling or thinking about it.
Well,
Those
they're
who
just
are,
questioning their
I
sexuality,
had
yeah.
a very pretty woman came to me. My secretary said, but his name was male. She's been enrolled for 3 years and going to the same toilets in motorway where my wife goes. Well, she wanted to have an operation to remove her organs.
That actually is one of our future shows, so we will get into that, Dr. Bliss. We'll have you back on for that one. You wanted to make a comment.
Coming back to how you says the choice of whether you are which sexual orientation that you choose, don't you think that we do have a choice in the part that we play in allowing people to choose, to explore their personalities, to come up with what sort of personality take that they're going to take, what career paths that they're going to choose? So don't you think that we have a choice in exploring sexuality to determine which sort of aspect fits us better? Although I know you did say that you felt from a younger age.
Is your question then that they're choosing whether it's a choice to
Yeah,
be gay?
look, if it is a choice to be gay, then don't you think that, I know you said that you've had from a younger age, you sort of knew within yourself. Yeah. So for you, you felt like it wasn't a choice, it is you. But don't you think that now the younger generation are beginning to explore personalities, explore sexuality. So for them, it is a choice. And that's where this religious conflict comes in, because they've got this choice, they've got this freedom of expression to choose what sexual orientation that they want to be. But then there's this religious barrier.
I don't know if I agree with you, but I'll let one of you answer that. I don't think that as a teenager you might explore your sexuality, but I ultimately don't think it's a choice. I think being homosexual is as much a choice as being a heterosexual.
Yeah.
See, I differ with that, because I think with the media's portrayal of more homosexual people coming out, and you can watch numerous amount of programs and you can see that there's lesbians, there's gays on there. People are now beginning to, rather than having this cultural view that is pushed upon people that, you will get married to an opposite sex, you will have children, the family name will continue. Now people have got this different light given to them. They've got this different perspective which is shown to them.
I'm glad you're bringing that up, because you're not the only one that shares that view. I mean, when you speak to Asians generally, they are of that opinion. It's cool, you're showing off, you want to be different, you want a little bit of attention, and I think that's a common held belief within Asians. I think there was a question over here.
Religiously, I just wanted to ask a question. With Islam, we don't promote homosexuality, but it's considered to be wrong is the fact that a man and a woman is put together to reproduce. So I was thinking, is it the same for Sikhism?
We have concept that's called Grishti Jivan, basically, whereby someone lives their family life and they progress spiritually living within society and that family life. But again, emphasizing the point that when you refer to family life in the Sikh faith, it refers to a man and a woman for the purpose of reproduction, which obviously wouldn't happen if it was the same-sex couple.
Pav, do you want children?
No.
Is it a choice that was made for you, or is it something you don't want?
I don't have maternal instinct. But then the flip side, going on that, there's lots of childless couples out there who choose their career above having children. So, have they just spent 20 years together for the sake of it? So it's one of those things. I think it's choice again.
Broken Silence is here to promote tolerance. There's a lot of ignorance out there, and we just want to give a perspective on issues that people are kind of confused about. Hopefully this conversation has been informative and you've taken some of the stuff we've said on board, and maybe it's altered the way you think. I'm Sanyya Gardez. You've been watching Broken Silence. I'll be back next week, same time, same place.